So I was asked if I wanted to speak, and I'm like, no. But I write, so I wanted to write about my mom, my influencer. You hear about influencers these days. You see them on Google, on whatever. I don't know because I'm not like online a whole lot. But this is my story of my mom. My mom was an influencer before her time. She spoke into the lives of those who her life was entwined. Thinking about her and all that she stood for brought some things to mind, although I know that there are so much more. For the raising of her children to become more like God, she set standards and guardrails for us within to trot. She scolded. She even gave spankings so that we would be free of being tied to wrong acting or thinking. She told us where we should go, what to do, how to dress. Only go or do what God would approve of, and you'll never be a mess. Don't wear that dress so short or that neckline so low. Put a hanky in it. God never intended for that show. You don't need makeup on your face for all others to see. What you are inside is the real beauty.
Amen.
Of course, every old barn needs a coat of paint, but use some common sense and a little restraint. Oh yes, common sense. It isn't so common anymore, but please make sure you're covered before you go out the door. Covered with the love of God and His grace so free, let Jesus and His love living inside be what others see. Mom, she could make a meal out of nothing, and plenty of times we didn't have a thing. She and Dad prayed the food in. While we sat waiting, she prayed in the food while we sat waiting to see what God would do. You know, I never thought about the lack or the possible stress because Mama never showed any kind of stress. She never made a show of having less. She lived by faith more than most I know, sure that God would provide, and no matter what, the blessings would flow. She never talked about how bad her day was or how she was hurting. She only wanted people to hear about God and to His love converting. She didn't complain to her family of things gone wrong. Instead, you would hear, "I am blessed," or her whistling a cheery song. She preached, she instructed, she influenced, she loved. Her desire was to see every single one in heaven above. Mom would play like a child with her grandchildren, then turn around and warn them all of the hell of a life lived in sin. You became loved ones the moment she spoke to you. You were one of her own, and there were not just a few. Influencers today affect people they don't know, but my mom touched each life with wisdom and a love that flowed. Every life was personally touched, and they were moved with a life lived before God every day. His love she proved. She brazenly, fearlessly, shamelessly preached to one and all. To each and every person that crossed her path, she felt that call to tell them of Jesus and His wonderful love for them. He saves, keeps, delivers, heals, never changes, and you can always trust Him. She preached to visitors, her children, family, and strangers, on the street and the doctor's office. Door meetings with her was a life-changing. When the hours spent in prayer, a warrior battling in the spirit realm for each and every person and problem, and not forgetting one. The woman who some may have viewed as harsh or judgmental cried buckets of tears for their situations and their souls. My mom, who loved me all my life, has finally had her coronation day. She fought and battled for the lives of her loved ones all the way. What a privilege and a blessing to have had this mom, this warrior influencer who guided my life and kept me from harm. I thank God for that influencer who impacted my life tremendously. Because of her, I view life sensibly and Jesus Christ as the remedy. Her influencing led to a rich, godly heritage, passed down to her children, grandchildren, and greats. What a heritage. I love her and will miss her, but I would never call her back. She's resting with the Father, complete, fulfilled, and now there is nothing that she lacks. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of the Lord.
Amen.